Oh, this is wrong music. More fun. Dun, 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 dun. But the notification's going. Oh, nice. That's cool. Da, da, da. Oh shit! I heard my stream. I was going to mute my stream, and then I heard myself humming, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I have no idea what you're talking about. Bum, ba-da-dum. That's my shit. That's my shit. Mmm. And I didn't think that I would hear it. Running a dump. Girl. By the way, during Easter, I'll be at campsite. No! Sadness. Honestly, I think I'm gonna be at a party. Like, I'm probably gonna have to be at a family event. That's my shit. Nah. Bum, bum, bum. That school that been like that, cause he ain't no how to back girl. Yeah. Easter is going to be a fun day, because I kind of want to do on a stream that day, but the thing is that, music is so freaking loud, is that I'm going to have to be at what am I going to be at? I'm going to be at, a family party. That's probably what's going to be happening. So yeah. Oh yeah, uh, apparently my brother was playing on this. Shit is bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-N. B-A-N-A-N-A-N. It's bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-N. Nope. That's my shit. That's my shit. Okay. Who is not ready for that stream? I'm ready. I'm chilling. Really, you don't have to try. Captain, come. Give it to one. Okay. I'm not, because I gotta go out. Bro. I might stream. I don't. Anyway, this is a normal stream. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no music playing. What? there's no music playing. I have no idea what you're talking about. Fuck. My one friend, Mix, my friend, joined one very chaotic Duolingo stream we had, and basically forced me to play children's songs the entire freaking time. And now there's like 20 children's songs in this thing. There is Dora the Explorer, that's all I know, and Chicken Ball. Which is funny. Hey, oh! We need to show you around. I think my brother was playing. Seriously? Yep. There is children's music now on the playlist. It's very funny. Anyone else? Nope. Okay, we're gonna have to quit. I think my brother was playing. I might have thought my brother was playing. I don't know what gave it away, really, but I think my brother was playing. But yes. Hello, chat. Hello. We are chilling today. We're gonna show y'all around the cool builds that we built. I better not see children. If that does occur, it's just gonna be a one Dora song. That's all it's gonna be. So, really funny. This was this week. It was like Tuesday or something like that. I was in our class, and I have this friend. He's really chill, and we were talking, and I was sitting at his table on art, and he was like joking around with one of his other friends, and when his friend told me, like, yeah, like, don't let him control your music, it's terrifying. And I was like, okay. And I proceeded to open up Spotify on my iPad and just hand him my iPad and be like, have fun. And it just consisted of the rest of the time of like 20 minutes of him trying to, no, wait, I didn't even change it. No. I'm a dumbass. I just loaded the damn thing. I just loaded it like normal, like I always do. It's on the wrong account. Yeah, so... But my friend, he just kinda... And so I was like, do you want me to control the music now? And I said, sure. And so he allowed me to gain control of, oh no. Like, I gave him my headphones and I basically got control of the music. It was hilarious. I gave him like a cool few songs, like I gave him like some NF songs and stuff like that to put him into a sense of comfort. I then proceeded to put on children's songs. I searched up, I'm not even joking when I say this, I searched up a cringe playlist on Spotify. I proceeded to get so many songs that was so funny. The song that broke him was Wheels on the Bus. What was Wheels on the Bus? What was it? Wheels on the... It was by Coco Melon. I was so sad. I was like, bro, I was gonna play the Coco Melon theme song next. You could have just waited another song. Go. I don't know. It was really funny though. It was very funny. Because he was just like, nope, I'm done. And he was like, what? Like, before I was putting on like other chaotic songs, he was like, why are you doing this? Please, why? I put on Sophia the First. I put on Sophia the First theme song, and he... okay. But yeah, I put on Sophia the First theme song, and the song that broke him wasn't Sophia the First. It was... It was... there we are. It was, freaking... In the carpet. Okay. So, it was so funny. Anyway, we have to show you around the area because we built some things, if you can't tell. We built some things. Look how pretty this looks. This is one of the flying rings area. The fish are stupid, and it's gonna be dark for a little bit. 1 second. Bone meal. I wanna bone meal this stuff first. Already bone meal's like majority of it, but like still. This area I don't think I bone mealed. No, I didn't. But yeah, let me do la that, and la that, and la that. Yeah. I also have lovely been getting sick a little bit, which is always fun. I hadn't gone on it all week. I was sad. And also in my defense, I was sick. Yesterday, I was not feeling well at all. I did not feel so good. My stomach was just like, nope, not today. And what the okay. And so I was just like, I just want to stream and do block game. That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna do it. I was very sick. I felt like I was either going to pass out or I was going to throw up. It was one or the other, or probably both. I literally had a trash can, like, next to my, like... Again, the fish are stupid. Like, I had a trash can, like, next to my... I still do. It's just sitting here. It's just... Oh. That was not me. And it was because that's how bad it was. Stop having fun without me. Bro! What else am I supposed to do? I almost wanted to go insane over Duolingo, though. I will say that, though. That almost occurred. That almost occurred, but I decided to scrap that stream until you got back. And I've decided we're doing that during spring break. Which is a lot funnier. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, so in here. Ooh. Whoa, that's annoying. So yeah, this is what we did last time. This is literally yesterday we did this. Like, we literally did this yesterday. And, oh my gosh, so annoying! It was so annoying! We did do some of this, I remember. Some of this, too. We're just gonna go around and just fly around and see what happens. We did do some of this, some of that, that. Planned out more things, went up here. Made that flying hole. I think we did a little bit over here. No, we didn't touch this area. Ah! Oh yeah, Eris Tour. I'm watching that later tonight, I'm pretty sure, with my parents, which is gonna be funny. Mainly my dad. He wants to watch it. It's gonna be hilarious. I forgot if we did anything over here or not. I don't think we did. No, we did. Okay, we did do something. My friend, came on, who is a year younger than me, and we started doing this. I kind of just forgot about it, and kind of just ditched it. So there is that we gotta do. It's gonna be a little lake, and then we're gonna have a little pillar thing that goes whoop. And then, we're gonna fill this up like we did with the other one. Fill this one up. Whee! And then this is up still that we did on stream. So don't worry about it. I think we started building this one. But I think I just gave up. Oh, we did make a book. That's the mainly thing that we did yesterday. We mainly did... Where is it? This thing. We mainly did this small tunnel. Boop. We mainly did this small tunnel, and then... made this. So we went through and looked at all the stuff that we needed to do in, like, the big chunks areas. So we have... underground of the structure, which is this. And this thing. Which is, like, this entire thing. Like, this entire thing that's supposed to be, like, connected to all those. And then connected to the outer border and all this stuff. So that we're gonna have to do. Castle walls are... let me show ya. Or this thing. Yeah. So these are the castle walls. Which we need to do second. Whoa. And then we need to do the garden. The garden is not that garden over here. Oh my gosh, so much room. Not this garden. That garden's completed. What garden I'm talking about is this garden. This is the garden that I'm talking about. So we need to do that next. Then, here, let me perch. Yep, okay. Boop. Okay, so then we gotta do the castle, which you can see just on the map. And then we need to fix the mountain, which is this thing. Wait, did I put city in here? City. So castle, and then it's gonna be the city part, which is just all of that chaos down there. Which is just like all that filling in and all that stuff. And then the second thing is fix the mountain. I kind of want to do that soon, because my brain has just been, the moment I wrote that down, I was like, I could easily do that quickly. And then, fix the path. I'm gonna have to force myself not to mess with it, because if I mess with that thing, it's going to not ever look good. So, and then final look, and then add lore stuff. Woo! So yeah. The lore stuff is just gonna be me flying around and giving a final tale and probably adding some books and stuff like that into it. Woo! Going here. Wow, lag! Lag! Gosh. Okay, that's working. Let's see if this thing kills my groove. Because it has for like the 3000th time. That seems more of like a hard level that I want to practice. Put it in the other way, like that way I just went, because it's really annoying to do. Woo! My phone's buzzing. Whoop. Okay, we're gonna put you, and then I'm gonna drink some water, and then I'm gonna look with whoever the hell is texting me. Who texting me? Who doing that? It's not 9:30. What is this person doing? Well, who are you? Who do you be? What the buzzy noise? Buzz. Oh my gosh. On! Are you watching the damn stream? You are! What the frick is this? What is this Etsy.com stuff? Why are you spamming bees in chat? What is happening? Buzz, 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 buzzy noids, buzz, bee, 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 bee. Hello. Okay, I'm about to go interrupt BRB. Okay, have fun. Whoa, a friend just joined. Bees go buzz. Yeah, Are you sure about that? No, exactly. No, they do. I mean, they could just be talking. Who knows? Nah. Okay. Yo, you want to see what we did so far? Oh yeah, they did. Okay, let me show you what we did so far. Woo! We made this thing! Yay! Let's go! I hate it. I hate going through it, but it's a good, cool project. Look at this! Ta-da! This is a little thing that we did last time. Oh, yeah. All the fish in here are dumb. That's not a joke. There's a reason none of them are in here. And there's a bunch of fish corpses everywhere. I don't know where they all went. Apparently there's like 3 here. Please tell me the ones over here are not as dumb. Nope, they're just as dumb. I'm not joking. I left for exactly 5 minutes and they're all gone. That kept happening yesterday. I kept like digging that through and I accidentally spawned fish. I'm not sure. See? Dummy. Okay. Yeah, okay. We also here, let me turn back on the effects. We also made this thing, which is just like the thing that we're gonna do. I kind of want to work on that mountain, which is the other way. No, let me through. Let me through. I mean, true. Dolphins are kind of cringe, kind of odd. Ooh, this looks like an awful little mountain, but not the mountain. This thing. I said mountain, but it's an island. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going bop 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 bop. Shopify. No one cares. Seriously, no one cares. Who's gonna tell them? Who's gonna tell them? No one cares. Who's gonna tell them? No one cares. Like flash forward to like a few years later, and I'm like, Shopify is sponsored. That would be funny. Okay. Yo. I'm being a teacher currently. Gal, it's not yo. You don't spell it out like UA and then yo you put no. It's just you get rid of the U. Just get rid of the U. Just get rid of the U. That's all you need to do. Cause the A and the U combine. Okay, you just need to get rid of. Just get rid of the. Just get rid of the U. Just get rid of the. That's all you need to do. Just get rid of the. It's UA. That's what it is. It's just UAO. This video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. This video today is brought. Nah, bruh. This video today is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, where you can get your own. What is it called? What is it? See, no. What is it? Raid Shadow Legends sponsor script. There's an actual sponsor script today. Oh my gosh, I'm pulling this up. Wait, hold up. I can actually do this. Hold up. No, 20 seconds away. Oh, bro. Hold up, Cal. We found the most funniest thing in the history of the world. Okay, ready? Who's ready? Okay, today, wait for crop. Okay, hold up. It can't fit. Okay, we gotta go like this, cause it can't fit. Oh, like stupid on screen. Okay, we gotta go like this. You'll understand in a second. My friend stated this video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends because I can't talk in the camera. Wait, no, free clout. We're gonna make fun of it. You're acting as if I care enough. I will make fun of this thing until the day I stop streaming. Raid Shadow Legends is an intensive online thingamabob that with ARPG, AGP, yep, title, and it's 3D graphics. That's all it is. That's all it's gonna be. That's all it is. Shadow Legends is a great big real fast thingamabob I can't read because the thing's my screen's covering it, so you should definitely get it in early. Starting now, you will have a huge head start with special lunch. I write special lunch turn. Who's getting lunch? Who's buying us lunch? Someone's getting us lunch. Yo, can I get a sandwich? I want a tomato. No, tomato. I don't want any tomatoes. All you need to play is a phone and a bank account to get some microtransactions from. I never experienced to get this level of performance out of the mobile. Ow, look at this crazy level of detail. Insert pixels in here that are just moving. This video is sponsored by Shadow, my cat, who is not here as he decides he's taking a nap downstairs. But if he was here, I would have picked him up and been like, this is Shadow. He's our Spencer. Yes, Spencer. 100%. This is sponsored by Shadow. Shadow is downstairs taking a nap, but we all must give him the pets that he deserves. We must give him the pets that we deserve, as if you were to pet him, he will give you attention. Nothing else. He will give you. Is that a Spanton G. Spampton reference? Maybe. Shadow will give you amazing. He will give you this amazing feeling of being petting a cat. That is what it is. That is what he will give you in return of giving him multiple free pets, your elbow to be bitten on, and to be woken up at 3 a.m. every day or anytime he's bored. So come by down to I don't freaking know where the frick I live, and come give him some pets. That is where Tumblr sexy man. Why did you say Tumblr sexy man in the text messages? Mate, what the frick? Shadow will 100%. Can I trade a cat for my spot? Why did you ask, can I trade a cat for my sister? Why? You good there? Yo, you good? Okay, gal, what's happening is that my friend doesn't have a Twitch account because they can't get one currently because of some chaos, because internet and stuff like that. And so instead, they're watching their stream on their phone and then texting me through text. So that's why you don't see their message in the chat, but I'm talking like they are texting in the chat. God damn, I didn't think it was fun. It was hilarious! What are you talking about? It's awesome! Anyway, come down today to your local, cat place? I don't know. And come get a shadow-free pet. I got that. Okay. Come on down and give Shadow a free pet today. First one's free, the second one, he bites your elbows. Come on down today, folks. He is available 24/7, because apparently he never sleeps. I've been watching this whole time and listening. Oh. Hi. Wait, is he actually here? Hold up, wait. False alarm. False alarm. False alarm. False alarm. I thought Shadow was here. I was so happy for a second this was going to be hilarious, but never mind. Okay. The man behind the slaughter? Why did you say the man behind the slaughter? Slater. Yip, Slater. My friend just texted twice, the man behind the slaughter, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, and then repeated to say the man behind the slaughter, question mark, 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 question mark. I think stream be freezing. Oh. Uh-oh. Why did you say hello, Pookies? Make sure to smash that like and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question. Are you okay currently? Are you okay? What is it? What is it? What is happening? Are you good? You good? Are you okay? Uh-oh. You good? This differs coughs and then falls. There's coughs, then falls. Mood. Wait, we can continue this. Hold up. Today's video is sponsored by Straight Shadow Legends, one of the biggest mobile something of 2019. I don't freaking know. Damn internet. Discord. Yeah, the only thing that's on is Discord. What the frick is this thing? Today video is sponsored by Way Sandwiches. It's one of the biggest mobile will app of 2019. Winter is totally free. Currently, over, over 7 million users. Your rate over there. That was 6 months. And it's one of the most important in his class. Well, I'm not joking. I don't know why. I have to show this right now. This must occur. I must show you this. I must show you it. This is too funny for it not to happen. This is literally what it says. I'm not joking. Today's video is sponsored by Way. What of the I don't know why it's like this. I don't know what's happening. Uwu language. No, don't know. There's an actual Uwu language. There's an actual Uwu language you can use on Minecraft. It's chaos. I'm closing that. No, thank you. There's an you can actually do it. What is happening? So currently Gal is died apparently. Because our that's why you're hearing the Discord ping, is because Gal's internet has apparently stopped functioning, and so now they are just texting me in all caps, what the frick is happening? Okay, this is gonna be fun. Anyway, how are you today? I hope you're doing well, chat. Everything's fine. My favorite fictional language is Tisset. It's made of drawing fishes. My favorite fictional language, which I'm actually fluent in, well, it's not really a fictional, it is technically a fictional. Well, what counts as a fictional language? This stream is sponsored by Raid, Shadow, and legends like you all. This stream is sponsored by Raid, Shadow, and legends all like you. Come on. Cuts to an ad break. Nah! Cuts to an ad break. Did it actually go to ads? I can't cut it to ads. Stop. It's be stopping and starting. Ah! I'm already dead on the internet. I'm already dead inside. But yeah. Okay. We're caught up. So there is... Feels like a dream, feels like magic, sparkle, 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 now I can feel it, I have it, ooh, Temu, ooh, Temu. I don't know what's happening. Why is it feels like a dream, feels like magic, sparkle, 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 sparkle. Sparkle. Twilight. Sparkle, 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 sparkle. I need a language that's just sparkle, 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 sparkle. Hi, gal! How's eternally, screaming over the internet going? Twilight Sparkle. That's what it is! Twilight Sparkle. Twilight Sparkle. Okay, bet. What do you mean, okay, bet? I'm scared. But, on fictional language, I am fluent in a fictional language. Well, what is a fictional language? That's what I was doing. What? Star, 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 sparkle, 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 star, star, star. Big star, big star, big star. Sparkle, star, 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 sparkle, star, stars. Big star, big star, big star, big star. Swirpy circle, sparkle, star, big star, swirpy star, sparkle, star. What is a fictional... How to say if it is a fictional language. Around me. Wait a second, not a fictional language. Okay, so there is a language I do know, which was what Gal was saying earlier with Uego, which is an actual language. Well, it's not an actual language, but you know what I mean. It's, I don't want to build on there. I'm fluent in a fictional language. We're both fluent in a fictional language. We're fluent in a language called, Ender, which I'm actually, the club's starting up next week. Gals, Kinglong. What? Huh? You good? What? Oh, wait, that? Wait, you know what it is? Enderman? Wait, hold up. Wait, you know what it is? Yeah, it's Ender. Hold up, gal. We might have found an ESI person. We might have just found someone from ESI in the wild. Oh, wait, hold up. Hold up. It has his own Ender like the alphabet. Wait, what? No. No, I thought you were a part of ESI. I was so happy. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. It's fun. Everything's fun. I'm fine. Ah! That's a police car. That is the wrong emoji. Oh my gosh. Okay. They put Left. You. Show me your ass. Show it. Okay. Anyway, so show me your ass. Thank you. Ignore this, okay? This happens all the time. I don't want to say put your hands up, I just say show me your ass. And then I continue on with my day like nothing's happening. No, Gal's having a chat delay. Okay. Yeah. It's a joke. I need to stop doing that. Also, does it still look pretty? This is a good song. I knew Ender was a language. I just don't. Ah. I thought it had its own number, but it was connected to. Yes, you do know what this is. Oh my gosh, no one in the world knows what this is, other than people who live in ESI. Okay. But yeah, yeah. I'm starting a club for it at school. It starts up next week. Yay! Ah! I'm eternally screaming. So that's gonna be fun. So, Tetsu, it has its own alphabet made of ripples you draw. Oh, that's cool. Yes. Language always, made up languages always interest me. Language in general interests me. They're very cool. Uh-oh. Gal, are you dying again? And the fish show different tenses of verbs and stuff like that. It was made during the pandemic. So was Ender. 57-second delay. Oh, gosh. Have fun. And it's a Sov language, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I want to sit still. Up in a pretty world. For example, English is SOV language, subject for object. Yeah, I know what SOV is. I'm chatting here now. Yeah, I know. Twitch is too delayed. Bruh. Bruh. Oh, I thought you didn't know. No. I am a... Mate, I am a language nerd. I am a nerd for language. I am in Japanese in school. I have learned how to write hiragana in my free time before going to school for Japanese because I speak 3 languages. Oh, what languages? What languages? What languages? What languages? Yo. What languages you speak? What languages you got? What languages you got? Japanese, English, Spanish, and Japanese. Ooh, nice! Cal, why'd you call me a nerd? I am not a nerd. I was really excited to talk to the exchange students because I have learning. Oh, have you talked to them yet? They're here this week. Nerd. Bruh! Everyone's calling me a nerd. My chat's bullying me. I'm sad. Time slips up in no way. I really wanted to, but I haven't had any opportunities yet. Bro, I got... They come back next year, right? Yes, I'm going next year. They're here for another week. Gal says I can speak 3 languages: English, Ender, and nonsense. True! True! So true. Oh, wow, Pokey. Yeah. I called you a nerd because you said you're a language nerd. I mean true. I'm agreeing. Brr. I mean true. Apparently, I talk all 3 languages in my sleep. That's a weird, interesting... Okay. Thank you for the information. I don't know... Gail just put a smile face. I can't imagine what learning ASL is gonna be like. You're learning ASL? Yo, I got you. Yo, I got you. Yo, I got you, bro. I got you. I'm learning it. I have the resources. I have them all. I got them all. What do you mean no? Sorry. But I want those references, so I will happily give them to you. I will 100% give them. I can't disagree with you. I have been considering it for a while. I will teach you. It is actually very fun to learn it. Give me. I will give them to you after the stream. They are very cool. I have a few. There is one. I don't know when the next one's gonna start up, but I can probably no. You would have to get the Google account. Okay. I'll show you what I'll do. I'll show you how I learn it. I'm learning Auslan. Yes, Gal is learning Australian version of ASL, which is Auslan, which is kind of cool. I did look at the alphabet. I have forgotten the alphabet since we talked, Gal. Yeah. I want to be a part of the ASL club, and you can be a part of the ASL club. There's not an actual club starting up, but sure, you're a part of it. You can learn with us. I mean, that's literally what I'm doing on my YouTube currently. I'm trying to make animations that have ASL parts of it because people keep spreading misinformation about ASL signing, and I say, nah, man, I'm doing my shit, and I wanna give, cause like, I know like Australian dialect, or is it separate from ASL? It's completely separate from ASL. It's still a sign language. It's Auslan, which is it's Australian Sign Language. That's what it is. Oh, okay, yeah. Also speaking languages, my Chinese Japanese. How did I get Japanese? Chinese teacher is giving me advanced work. I'm just that good. True. I mean, I've done Duolingo before, and Gal has just shown off when it comes to Chinese, and it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, cool. Yeah. That was Gal's. That was Gal. That was not me! Alright, so I've been teaching myself for such a long time. It's gonna be awesome. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, you're gonna freaking love it here, mate. You're gonna love it. I'm telling you right now, drama is barely drama exists in your friend group. It does not spread around the school like wildfire anymore. It's freaking awesome. This is Africa. Hey. Think of me. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, you're gonna like it here. I gotta show you all the clubs I'm a part of and everything like that. On the first few days of school, I'm just gonna, like, help you to all your classes and probably just drag you along to different clubs that are starting up, because it takes, like, 2 weeks for all the clubs to start up. It's so annoying. Oh, that reminds me, I gotta sign up for this game. I gotta fill out a permission form. Clubs! Auslan is Australian Sign Language, completely different to other sign languages because we only have that have the actual name. That is what Gal says, and that is kind of true. I can't wait to separate myself from the dysfunctional students. I'm a school. Yeah. That is exactly what I did. That's what I did the moment I got there. I was just like, I don't know you anymore. Goodbye. Unfortunately, nobody wants to listen to what I have to say when I say there's our students being a problem. Why is foot... Gal says, why is this foot emoji in more recently used? I don't know. I never touched foot emoji. I don't know. Go walk down. Hey. Foot emoji. Hey. Sabidomia Sangolina. This time for Africa. Face it. No! Face it, you can do it. No! Dumbo, No, stop spamming foot emojis! Damn you, autocorrect. Leg. Oh, it's a leg emoji. It's not the foot emoji, it's a leg emoji. Why is leg a foot? Okay, I can understand foot. Why a leg? What did you type? Foot is foot, yes. One of my most recent... I do not need to know that one of your most used emojis are the mewing emojis. I do not need to know this information. Get it right, go, bro. How much? Motorcycle. Enough's playing. Enough's playing. Everyone hold hands. Everyone hold hands. Enough's playing. Also, American. Why is the American flag one of your most used? Oh my gosh. I don't know what I typed. Oh my gosh. NF, please. Please, he's already on the ground. Please, NF, he's already on the ground. NF, he's already on the ground. NF, I will change my audio to... NF, I'm turning on the thing. I will turn on the radio demon thing. I will do it. NF, please. I will... Liberty. I don't know the fuck a kilometer is. Essek. What the fuck? I'm missing all my most recent emojis now. Okay. We love our ordity. Literally, that's how it says. Ordity and liberty in our First Amendment. We celebrate our communion on the 4th of July. Flag. Bald eagle. Football. Firecracker. Fireworks. Firecracker. Gal's Australian? What the fuck are you on about? Gal's Australian, and I don't like it here. What are you talking about? Anyway, okay. But it's only there because of what I said earlier, yeah. NF, please. NF, I will turn on the radio demon mic, please. Please. He's on the ground. Please. He's already on the ground. Please. NF. I want to do this now. I haven't tested it out yet. I think I remember it makes my voice higher. And it puts a weird, like, radio thing behind my voice. Okay, ready? I'm Australian. Yes. Okay, I'm putting it on the radio, demon. Hello? It doesn't make my voice lower. Kinda does. Okay. NF is coincident. We are one, but we are many. There's background effects? What is background effects? Oh, there's background effects. This is cool. And from all the lands on Earth, where on Earth we come. Why is there... Yeah, I pledge allegiance. What the fuck is happening? I feel... We are free of the United States of America. We are free from the enemy. Literally what it says on one side is Gallus messages where it says we are free, and from the other side is my phone and it just said from the United States of America.